Virgos, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is for May 2nd through the 8th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link because the signs are different. All right, so Virgo, this week we have a new moon, and it's going to be in your 8th house of intimacy, right? Your intimate relationship with self, of transformation, of really connecting to what really matters to you in life, getting rid of old belief systems, old habit patterns, and doing that inner transformational work, which I think already has been the focus for you because you've already had the sun here. You've had Mercury here for some time. Mercury went retrograde last week. So a lot of the stuff you're perhaps rethinking about, right? Thinking about intimacy or thinking about life and death, beginnings and endings, transformation, the importance of having those deep connections in life, you know, with you, again, primarily, but then, of course, that naturally translates externally. So it's a good time to be adaptive, to try new things. The new moon is a lowering of energy, right? So it's a good time to kind of listen around Friday. This is going to be on Friday. It's a good time to listen and maybe, though, you know, set some new intentions regarding where you can cultivate what really matters to you in life, what's really meaningful, because that's what comes through in an 8th house transit. So at the end of the day, it shows us beyond the material realm, beyond the earthly realm, what really matters in life. And I think you're certainly seeing that. I think you're certainly connecting with that, with Venus in that 9th house. You could be enjoying it, enjoying those intimate relationships, those deeper connections. But again, it's all reflective. It's good to be trying new things with it and just learning about it, just being open to learning about this area of life. Now, of course, Mercury is your ruler, so you guys are going through a reflection just in general, as there always is the case with the Mercury retrograde. Good time to re-examine your goals, where you've been putting your energy, and for Virgos, your career, which is that ruling 10th house Gemini. Mercury ruling that 10th house. So there's this reflection in terms of where you've been perhaps putting your energy or what's been going on with career that now you can rethink, rehash, redo, recultivate. But again, with all this energy in your 10th, specifically relating to what really matters. How you can let go of old habit patterns, old things that are just no longer serving you. But it requires that willingness to dive deep. So the deeper you're willing to dive, which there's, you know, it's always endless, but the deeper you're willing to dive, the more of that stuff you can uncover, be aware of, accept, and it's through that acceptance of all aspects of self and all aspects of life that we come to that spiritual liberation of the 8th house, that spiritual freedom. Now, this new moon is very supportive. Okay, it's forming a kite, as you can see here with these blue aspects. It's a very supportive new moon. It's going to be sextiling up to Neptune. So with this, there's this perhaps willingness to let go, or there's opportunity to let go this week in terms of the routines, to surrender a bit with the daily activities, maybe with the workspace. And it's that detached perspective, that surrender, that everything is, of course, unfolding in divine timing, which right now is not easy because Saturn is squaring up to both Jupiter and Neptune. It's a lot of uncertainty about the future. But there's this opportunity here this week where I think it could come a bit easier to let go and detach from the daily stuff. And that can create a lot of the peace and tranquility, which then again does support this deeper understanding, this deeper involvement. This can be very powerful time for you guys, where you're really connecting with life, essentially, in a very deep and true and raw and meaningful way. Now, in terms of the trine side of this, the grand trine, it's involving these water houses. So for you, there's been a lot of changes with your home, family, your health over many years. Old habit patterns being released with that. So there's a lot of support with this. And I think the more willing you are to also explore, too, your roots, your sentiments, your foundations in life, make changes wherever that's needed. I think you definitely will with the trine. I think there's a lot of, you know, indication of that. But being conscious of that, right? Being conscious of where you can release those patterns. And again, releasing patterns in terms of attachments to the self or attachments to life or the life process, right? So it can be very powerful. That's going to be exact over the weekend after the new moon on Friday, which is going to be a great weekend for diving deep with self to make change And especially because Pluto's trining up to your ruler Mercury to make change with self. Through this re-examination, through this exploration, through trying new things with intimacy and all of this. There's a lot of support. Now, in terms of the Jupiter, which is going to be Monday and Tuesday, leading into that new moon, we do have this support to connect to the present moment. It's been a lot. There's been this new shift, right, with the North Node shifting into your 12th house this year. Jupiter's been retrograde here, so perhaps you guys are re-examining things like where you can perhaps get some peace in your life, have some peace in your life, where you can have a bit of that tranquility, that easygoingness. But that comes from acceptance. You know, 12th house is ultimately about acceptance in your life. And it's through that acceptance that the peace and the tranquility and the easygoingness really arises. So you guys have been learning about that. It's still great to be learning about that, but it's an excellent week, especially, we'll just say all week long, but Monday, Tuesday, and then around that new moon to really connect to that surrendering nature, the letting go, connecting to the present moment, maybe getting some alone time, some meditative time. And that could be directly, again, supporting the fact that there's a lot uncovering, a lot of new transformations occurring with you. And that's really going to be the case once these planets start to go into your 9th house one by one after this. But this is the time to really see what matters. And you do have a lot of support to do that this week. A lot of support. And again, there could be this new space clearing for this fresh new beginning now. Now, also over the weekend, going into next week, we do have your ruler trining up to the North Node. So there could be insights. I think there already is going to be insights with Mercury retrograde in your 8th about you, about your career, about what matters. But this could be directly related to your spirituality. Maybe it's spiritual opportunities for some of you this week, you know? I'm not sure. Depends on your personal chart. But with the North Node, you're learning about, you know, this importance of, you know, if it's philosophical type of spirituality, if it's Christed Buddhic teachings, whatever it might be. I think it's an excellent week to learn about that stuff, you know, whatever that is. It's not so much the philosophy necessarily, although it could be because it's Jupiter, but the 12th house is at the end of the day just your personal relationship with God or with the universe or with that presence. And I think you can learn a lot about that over the weekend. It's an excellent weekend for that meditative approach, getting a bit of that easygoingness, maybe that rest and relaxation, whatever it might be. But the strongest emphasis is on Friday with that new moon conjoining up to your ruler, by the way. So this new moon is going to be new beginnings with you. It's going to probably translate in your external appearance, you know, with you externally. Because although it's internal, a lot of this is very deep. It's a new you, where it's like the transformation process. But the point of the transformation where you see what matters and you're connected to it and you're seeing it. You're seeing the truth. And you're expressing the truth. Both with yourself and about life. But again, this is going to take time because there's still a retrograde and this new moon does take time to gain that energy, that momentum. But it's a great week for setting those intentions, for going within and really listening. All right, so Virgos, have a fantastic week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.